Did Nick Mullens regress? He was okay in 2018, but he looks horrible now. Maverick, why don't you start off? What do you think?
I think as a whole, the team obviously was much worse in 2018 in terms of production, just because CJ Beathard was the quarterback for a time, and then Nick Mullens came in. But I think this team is better with the talent they have, but Mullens has taken more time to get into it. McGlinchey is definitely a downgrade. I think Trent Williams took a lot longer to get up to full speed, or what his full speed is now, so that hurt Mullens. But I just think Mullens kind of took the world by storm with that Raider game, and teams adjust to quarterbacks. And that's always the big thing, especially in the MLB, NBA, you see rookies, how they perform, and then teams adjust to them after a couple weeks, and you know what they can provide. And then it's how do they adjust? The sophomore slump is always a big thing. This is technically Mullens' sophomore year because he didn't play last year. So how does Mullens adjust? And it hasn't been the best so far how he's adjusted. It's been really telling because I thought he was a top 36 quarterback coming into the year, and I don't necessarily think that's true anymore. But we'll get to see a lot from how he finishes off the year because I think he will start the last 3 games. And I think he can get back into that 38 to 32 range.
To me, he's the same guy he was in 2018. Maybe that's a controversial thing to say. I think what really has changed is the expectations. When he started playing in 2018, he was just a cool story. He's an undrafted guy who's actually holding his own to an extent. He won a few games. Wow. And then 2 years later, we're like, all right, Grant's been hyping him up. He's 25. Let's see what you got, buddy. And it's like, no, he's still the same guy. I mean, he's still a guy who's basically a rookie. He's working on his 16th career start coming up. I mean, let me just give some numbers. In 2018, he was 3-5. His record was 3-5. This year, in 7 starts, he's 2-5. In 2018, he completed 64% of his passes. This year, he's completing 65. 2018, he had 13 touchdowns and 10 picks. This year, he has 10-10. I mean, in 2018, his rating was 90. Now it's 85. We'll see he could have a big game against Dallas and push his rating closer up to 90. I think he's basically the same guy. I don't know how much he's improved. I don't know how much Jimmy's improved, how much any of these quarterbacks have improved the last 3 years. They're kind of the same. And in 2018, he had Kittle. He threw to Kittle like all the time, and that worked out pretty well. This year, he's throwing to Ayuk as much as possible. I think Kittle was probably a little bit better in 2018 than Ayuk is right now. That might be some of the difference, but he's not done. Let's see. He's got one more game to make it an even comparison, 8-8. I don't know. I still think he's about the same, and it'll be interesting to see if he can at least turn a corner these last 3 games, because this is his last game where he's technically a rookie. Now it's over. This is the end of his quote-unquote rookie season. The start against the Cardinals, if he makes it that far, will be start number 17. It's time to show something, because it was right around now when Jeff Garcia took off. Now, Jeff Garcia had Terrell Owens, but Brandon Ayuk's pretty good too. Let's see what Mullens can do these last 3 games, because that'll answer it.
So does that concern you at all? Just for 2018, like you said, no expectations. Let's see what this undrafted guy can do. But the defense was also not very good. So
True.
Anything he can provide. This year, the defense is much better. So it's just don't mess up, Nick. And at times he's messed up, and that's kind of resulted in the loss. So that's another way to look at it is
he makes rookie mistakes every game.
Yeah, and
they're like,
you can't do that with this defense, because it's just don't turn the ball over, and you can beat Washington and you can beat Philadelphia. And then he turns the ball over, and that results in the loss at the end.
Now, to be fair, the running game really hasn't been consistent this year. So it's not as simple as, hey, just hand the ball off and don't get in the way. He has been in situations where it's like 2nd and 15, 3rd and 9. I mean, the offense has not executed well all year, from penalties to blocking to those type of things. And I think he's been in a lot of situations where he's losing, he's backed up behind the chains, and tries to do too much. Instead of just being like, let me just throw this 4-yard pass on 3rd and 12 and get off the field. He's like, no, I'm going to show I belong. I'm going to show him like Jimmy. I'm going to throw it 13 yards on 3rd and 12. And sometimes it's like, wow, he really completed it to Richie James. Other times it's like, no, dude, you're trying to do too much. Like, just throw the ball away or take the sack, So I don't know. I think that those are the kind of growing pains you see from a young quarterback. But if he were 6'5" with a rocket arm and a first round pick, people would be patient. You have patience for guys like that. But an undrafted guy, it's like, dude, you better show something right freaking now because we're losing our patience for you, Nick. I think that's basically how Niner fans feel.
Would you take him over Haskins if you had to? Yeah, if you had to win a game tomorrow, you'd take Mullens over Haskins.
I would. I don't think much of Haskins. I think Haskins is going to be out of the league in a few years, and I think Nick's going to be in the league until he's 35. I don't know if he's going to ever be a starter, but I think he'll be a backup as long as he really wants, kind of like Josh McCown, something like that. I think coaches love that guy.